Hey everyone, it's Libby from Meister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides in the universal energies. Okay, I'm going to look at something a little bit different in this video, entertainment only, using my Lightseers Tarot. Love your comments, love your questions, keep them coming. I want to have a look at, is there any message from the universal energies that we need to know at the moment, aside from when you're in an aeroplane? Keep your seatbelt buckled up. Loosen it a little bit if you need to, but keep your seatbelt buckled up. That we need to know in regards to the climate change that is happening in our world at the moment. Yes, there are deniers still out there. Goodness me, I've got close family member who was a rampant denier. I don't understand the silo that they're down in regards to denial. But what brought this to my attention is there's been a couple of aeroplanes, big international flights at the moment, that have struck what they call clear air turbulence. It cannot be picked up in radar. It cannot be seen. There is no way of identifying it before you hit it. And what happened, there was a Singapore Airlines aircraft flying from London to Singapore, where 41 um, passengers and crew were hurt, and one died. Now, the one that died did not die from hitting their head or anything. They died of a heart attack during the incident itself. I believe what happened is that it hit the aircraft hit the clear air turbulence. There is a rumor going around that it plunged 6,000 feet. It didn't plunge 6,000 feet. What happened is it lifted, plunged, and then the pilot, because what happens is that the autopilot automatically switches off when that sort of scenario hits. I think it was only a couple of 100 feet each way, so about 600 feet. To be honest, when you chuck in the G-force in a second doing that sort of action, it was incredibly intense. The pilot then had to take over manual control with no warning, but they get trained to do this, and he had to dive the aircraft 6,000 feet to then regain control of I think it was a 777. There was one that died. Out of the 41 that were dead, 22 had suffered spinal injuries. There's an Australian woman at the moment paralysed from the waist down, but 20, I don't know about other passengers, but 22 suffered spinal injuries. 6 suffered skull injuries and brain injuries, and it's just absolutely horrific. And then within the last couple of days, there was a Qatar Airlines aeroplane that also had a similar incident in which 12 people were hurt. A 2017 study came out that would predict that there would be, due to climate change, due to atmosphere warming, there would be an increase of around 50% in the northern hemisphere of these clear air disturbances. Doesn't mean the hitting of the aircraft will increase by 50%. They're just saying there will be more of these disturbances. And basically, what happens is that they occur at around between 20 and 49,000 feet, which is cruising level for most aircraft. And what it is, it's due to upper atmosphere warming, where you've then got the rushing of cool air into the warm air locations, and vice versa. As what will happen, that's why we have lows and highs, and we have systems that turn, etc. It is about high pressure rushing into areas of low pressure to try and create neutral pressure, if that makes sense. So that's what actually causes our weather, is the movement from high pressure atmospheric areas on ground level to low pressure, but we're talking about up at in the jet stream, and it causes wind shears. Okay, and bends the wind. So, what's also happening is massive tornadoes across the centre of the US, resulting in a lot of damage and deaths. We've got floods causing landslides in locations such as the one I mentioned the other day in Papua New Guinea. We have the a lot of the Pacific Islands are really starting. The low-lying ones are struggling with the higher water level. Now, for those that go, oh, off my beach, the water level hasn't gone up at all, that's fine off your beach, but the water does not shift equally across the earth. I mean, in some areas, a tide might only be a couple of meters, but in other areas of the world, the tidal shift can be 12 to 15 meters. So the water isn't distributed equally across the world, across the planet. So sorry, I'll get off my little soapboxy here. Plant more trees. What I want to have a look at, interestingly enough, in some parts of desert areas. Actually, I was listening to the other day about an archaeologist talking about northern Africa, which is now a desert region, that 8,000 plus years ago, it was actually savanna region. So climate shift, yeah, climate does shift. Weather is daily, climate is long term. So don't let anybody say, oh, they can't predict the weather next week. They don't know what they're talking about. Two different entities, same atmosphere, but weather is daily, climate is long term. So what's happening in some of those northern African areas? I have seen articles about trees being planted and creating a green belt, which is basically reclaiming what was desert back to a greener. Um, in Brazil, I did read forever ago about when De Silva was elected, Lulu de Silva was elected into Brazil, that he would try and rein in the logging and then there will be a regeneration. I still believe that will happen, but like anything, it doesn't happen overnight. It does take time to turn around. But as I use my Lightseers Tarot and I'm shuffling the Star of Hope and Healing, and we've got the King of Cups, the emotionally mature, in touch negotiator and diplomat. So I do have hope. Now, okay, this is me on my little hobby horse here. I've been counting my coffee beans on my tree. I've got dozens of coffee beans on my tree. They won't be ready for harvest for about months. But yes, I'm a bit excited about that. Um, Although I must admit my garden is struggling. We're in end of May and it's not quite sure what season it is. I've still got passion fruit flowering on my passion fruit vine. Um, the grapevine chucked out some leaves and now it's going, oh, I'm not so sure about this. And yeah, the garden's just not quite sure what's going on. But let's have a look. What message do you have for us, guys, in regards to what do we need to know about what's happening in our with our climate, with our atmosphere? Scientists have been warning us about this for about 40 years now, but humans being humans, we need it to affect us personally and give us a good old slap around the head to actually take notice and change our actions. It's just a human trait, but let's have a look. What does the universe want to let us know about climate change? Okay, so using my light says I'll then grab the Nature's Whispers and have a read with those as well. What does the universe want us to know? The Knight of Cups. Mother Earth is meeting us halfway. It is giving us the option. It is putting the message out there. It is imploring us. We have to meet her halfway. Now I know it's a bloke, but we have to meet her halfway. She cannot do this on her own to bring about a stabilization of our climate. It's out there for us to see. There's an important message down here. If you have a look, there is a really important message there for us that has not yet been opened. And so this is what is on the table at the moment, an offer on the table. Now, I'm always drawn to the saying that says, we humans need a healthy planet to survive. Planet does not need us. And also to the saying of, if we're right, then we can create clean water, clean air, a healthier planet for our survival. If we're wrong, we end up with clean air, clean water, and a healthier planet. So there is no downside to taking notice and bringing about change. Okay, but she's put it out there. She has put it out there. It's up to us to actually open the message and take notice. The King of Pentacles is the challenge. Can be a protective king, but to me this is just about the greed of commercialization. The dollar speaking. You've got the necessities in life, clean air, clean water, food and shelter, and under shelter I say warmth or cool, protection in whatever manner. Beyond that, it is all discretionary spending. So this is about consumerism. Do we really need? Do we really need whatever extra that is? But I'm drawn to the fact you've got the wolf here protecting consumerism. Governments like to rattle on about growing the economy. Growing the economy is connected to increasing the population, increasing the spending power. I do agree that everybody needs to have a comfortable standard of living, but do we really need to grow the economy by populating more than what is? Now, Australia has actually a declining population, like a lot of Western countries do. More than happy for to bring people from other parts of the world in, as long as they abide by our pretty chill, compassionate tendency in nature. But do we need more? Not necessarily. So this is the challenge. The energies behind the scenes, the unbalanced relationship. There's a need to be in partnership with Mother Earth. There is need to be in partnership with our environment. Instead of trying to control, we work with. So I am on sandy soil where I are now. It means that I can't grow certain things. I have to work with the environment, but I also work with the environment by putting a lot of green organic matter into my sandy soils, mulching my sandy soils, so that I don't have to use excess water, fertilising, growing appropriate plants, putting in veggie beds for the vegetables that otherwise wouldn't grow. This is about working with nature, not trying to put a golf course in the middle of a desert type thing. Okay, to control nature. And emotional freedom. So this is energies behind the scenes. Embrace the emotions of it. Lean into the emotion of working with Mother Nature. Financially, there is enough for everybody. There is enough food in the world. There's talk going on about food shortages, etc. No, there's not. It's food hoarding that is causing shortages in other areas, or conflicts and wars that are causing shortages. There is not a shortage. There is enough for everybody, as long as certain elements aren't greedy or use the resources is hostage. Also got to remember that on the earth we are in a closed system. There's no such thing as throwing away. We are simply throwing it somewhere else. We say that we can destroy, but all we're doing is converting it to another element. So if you're burning plastics or something, you're simply converting it to a different element. There is no away, throwing away, getting rid of, destroying. Okay, tower moment. So out of this imbalanced relationship we have, there is a real tower moment that we need to confront, to be aware of. And the tower, it's nothing to be scared of. It's not like there's going to be nuclear war or anything like that. It is simply deciding what it fundamentally at a core level is important and letting go of all the BS that we get fed. And you will find it transformative. At your fundamental core level, what is important? The love of family and friends, shelter, food, clean water, clean air, compassion, connection with spirit, and the rest. Do we really need it? I'm drawn to what's popping up in my mind is the celebrities that sort of there's two in the house and they build this, 57 room, looks like a big parking station type house. Do they really do do they really need it? No, they don't. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that there because you know exactly what I'm talking about. And coming out of this freedom, and I think what this freedom is, okay, thank you. What I'm getting is this freedom is the letting go of this consumerism, this relentless playing into consumerism. Letting it go give you an incredible sense of freedom and embracing your soul spirit. It's a collective awakening where we are embracing spirit and realizing what is really important. We are at a crossroads moment where we need to decide, do we stick with what is, which again I'm going to say is rampant consumerism, where we're buying oranges in Australia from the Middle East. No, we don't need to buy oranges from the Middle East. Just wait till oranges are in season in Australia. Or, tin fruit that's grown in China, sent to Europe for packaging and brought back to Australia. No, buy the Australian tin fruit. Might be a couple of cents extra. And if it's too expensive, just ask yourself, do you really need it? Buy in season. Buy quality clothing that lasts longer instead of the latest fashion that you wear 3 times and then throw out if you wear 3 times at all. We have to decide between this lower consumerism energy, this is the karma hanging over, or the alternative, the what if. And I think there's a change, the Page of Swords. A lot of ideas walking across this chasm on this tightrope, on this sword of truth, this sword of reality, this sort of research and sort of science, with the information coming out. The outcome, finding balance and moderation, movement forward. I do like this outcome. Coming together, an emotional completion, and the Sun card. Embrace all that is wonderful. So I do like these cards, and we've got giving and receiving help. Well, in the face of this devil energy. Now, the devil energy, he's tied in with this energy in that it appears to be the easy path that he's trying to seduce you down, the one where it's same old, you don't make any changes, you don't make any decisions, you don't step up, you just continue on in the same old, but it brings nothing but despair, this path. It's really about making conscious choices. It's not what you're necessarily already doing, which is this energy here. It's not necessarily what seems easiest, and it's not necessarily the one that makes the brightest promises. It is by working together with feminine, compassionate community strength and moving on from the marketing and the messaging, or just even simply ideals and preconceived ideas that are not working for you. One thing that I'm really drawn to, and I'm going to mention this because I'm drawn to it in regards to this energy here, and then making conscious decisions, which is not necessarily the easiest one. I have children of my own a while back. At some stage during the last, I would say, probably 10 years, came out those little Yoplait yogurts in those single serve packets with the tube on the top that the kids, the little, the toddlers slurp away at. I'm just flabbergasted by them. I'm absolutely flabbergasted by them. They're single use. The amount of waste in one of those, simply because, yes, I agree, they may be easy to unscrew the top and say, here, have that, because you don't end up with stuff all over them, and you can just hand it to them and they tend to like them because I imagine they're probably full of sugar. But I'm just, and I understand that they're easy, but I'm just flabbergasted at the conscious choice that parents are making with this as a particular product. What's wrong with a banana? What's wrong with a little Tupperware container of some mashed pumpkin that you had in the freezer and you get out? I I put them alongside coffee pods. I don't understand. I understand the ease of them. I understand the simplicity of using them. I do not understand why they exist. I'm just putting it out there. I told you I was going to be on one of my little hobby horses today on my soapbox. Just going to draw some cards from the Nature's Whispers Oracle deck. Yeah, I just does my head in. Um, because there's just so much packaging for convenience, but it is plastic packaging, a lot of plastic packaging, a lot of unrecyclable packaging for and I get it for convenience, but anyhow, I'll put that aside. Let me have a look. Using my Nature's Whispers Oracles cards, show me what we need to know in regards to what's happening with climate change. What do we need to know? Are the scientists finally being heard? I think they are at a certain level for those that take an interest. And I must admit, I do feel privileged. I am privileged that I am in a position that I have the brain space and the time to actually explore this particular issue. If you are struggling to pay your rent or your mortgage and you're struggling to put food on your table and the kids have outgrown their shoes and you need new shoes for school, I understand fully how there's just no space left to perhaps alter decisions. I do get that. completely understand that. And I think that's part of perhaps community needing to become the village again. Let's have a look. Show me, what do we need to know? What message do you have for us in regards to this recent climate change activity? Come down, let's have a look. Signifier. Oh gosh, yes, yes, yes. It's almost like this is core to coming together as community. Celebrate differences. Celebrating that what is the differences in all of us and accepting the differences in all of us is what makes us stronger. If we were all the same, life would be incredibly boring and we would make no advances forward. Celebrate the differences, embrace the foods that are coming in, the customs and traditions, the ways of doing. Just celebrate the differences. I'm actually drawn to a newspaper article that came across my feed this morning. Actually, it was an opinion piece in a right-wing conservative newspaper in Australia here, where they were going. The writer was going spare about the fact that some people push their dogs around in prams. I don't have an issue with it at all. Who knows why? But their thing was their beef was the fact that uh, pets are not babies. They shouldn't be pushed around in prams. Well, if your 17-year-old dog wants to go out for a walk and it's not capable, put it in a pram. My attitude is if you don't want to put your pet in a pram and take it out for a walk, fine, don't. But you have no right to tell anybody else that they can't. Celebrate the differences. Glad to see that in the comment section they absolutely got flogged, as they should have. But we seem to be going through this period at the moment where there's this offended outrage that somebody does something different to how you do it. Okay, I make my bed differently than you, so it's none of your business, doesn't hurt you. That sort of um, there's an attitude going on at the moment where if somebody does something differently, or their customs are different, or their food is different, or their dress is different, or whatever it is, it's supposed to be maligned. I don't agree with that at all. So celebrating the differences, absolutely. The challenge is going to be catch your breath. My goodness, we're at the end of May already. Catch your breath. Make sure you take time out for yourself. Look after yourself first. Don't try and solve all the problems yourself. And yes, she's having a little scratch back there. Don't take it all upon yourself. You can only change what you personally have influence over. And if that means you put a beautiful pot of flowers out on your front verge or something, then that's all you can do. So catch your breath, look after yourself first, only do what you can, and understand that at the foundation of it, all that matters is love. Love in your heart, love of self, love of your surroundings. We don't always particularly like our surroundings, but what is it that you can do to, in the smallest way, improve your surroundings? Engage in something that you love. Love of self is fundamental. In the past, heighten your vitality. Basically become educated. Look at the magic of this little blue rock that we all live on in the middle of a vast universe. Look at the magic that it pertains, that it contains. Heighten your vitality by becoming knowledgeable, by learning, by embracing. Crowning this reading, trust your own understanding. Only you know you, only you truly know your situation, and only you can bring to your situation what you can bring. Trust your understanding. Powerful. Love self. Love matters. You can only do what you can do. Trust your understanding of your situation, where you are at, what you can achieve, what can you do, what can you change, what you can't change. Just as important, if you can't change it, let it go. Educate yourself and celebrate differences. Be gentle with yourself. Absolutely. You can only do what you can do. Do not beat yourself up about anymore. If you are not in the headspace to make radical changes or put yourself out there, grow a pot plant, feed the birds put a bird feeder up in the yard or wherever, in a tree in the street somewhere. Go in the community garden if you feel you can. If you can't, that's okay. Be gentle with yourself. You can only achieve what you can achieve in your own sphere. Externally, be spontaneous. Walk along the pavement with a jar full of flowering bird, bee, butterfly seeds. Drop them in the cracks in the pavement. See what happens. If someone says, "Do you want to?" don't automatically go no. Perhaps say yes. It's also stepping out of your comfort zone. Change comes from stepping out of your comfort zone. Perhaps reconsider your same old option and say yes to something different. Internally, bountiful harvest. Reap the harvest. Reap the gratitude in what you are getting back, even if it's just getting back from yourself. The feeling of passing on something that perhaps you no longer need to someone who's grateful. I'm actually going to, in regards to this, I was out to lunch a couple of weeks ago with a girlfriend. Oh, it feels like I lunch all the time, but I don't really. But a couple of weeks ago, lunch with a girlfriend. Sitting at the cafe, the wait person came over and said, would you mind if somebody else paid for your lunch? We have a gentleman here who does this all the time. He's a regular at the cafe, and he just randomly comes in and says, "The next people to order, I'll pay for their lunch. Go and get their order." And we were like, "Holy crumbs, really?" So we put our order in. The attitude is pass it on. Don't know this guy from a bar of soap. No strings attached. Apparently he does it all the time. He lives nearby, has a business nearby. I have been trying for weeks to pass that on to others. I offered to pay a vet bill for somebody in the vets yesterday. No, that's all right. I offered to pay for some food at the supermarket for someone this morning. No, it's all right. I'm trying to pass it on. But celebrate the gratitude, celebrate the harvest, celebrate all that is good. Concentrate on all that is good and bring forward in your hope a renewal of peace. Speaking of renewal and peace, Netanyahu came out overnight apologising for the bombing in South Rafah. That cost many lives, including children, overnight. Too little, too late, in my opinion, but it is almost like a chink in the armour in regards to sitting down and bringing about peace. Embrace the peace in your life. Take time out for yourself. Perhaps connect with nature. Hope is this renewal of peace on many fronts. Because trust your own understanding, you are worth it. Absolutely. You are worth it. Love yourself. Invest in your own education, but also embrace the gloriousness of the earth. Be spontaneous. Harvest the bountiful harvest that is within and without. Take time for yourself. Catch your breath. Celebrate differences. And be gentle with yourself because you are worth it. Every single one of you. You are worth it. Explore the inner truths and take yourself on an adventure. And I love that these tie with this be spontaneous. Take yourself on an adventure and explore something new. Doesn't mean you actually have to go anywhere. It can simply be watching a documentary on YouTube or propagating some houseplants or going for a walk in your local park in the sun. Take yourself on an adventure because you are worth it. Okay, I'm going to leave that reading here. As I said, I was on not a little bit, I was on a lot of the soapbox there. But it's just a message that Spirit wanted me to share. It all starts with us as individuals. We can rail at corporations, we can rant at governments, but true change, true progressive movement, true embracing the world that we want to leave for our children starts with us. Love yourself, be spontaneous, go on an adventure, even if it's dropping a few seeds in the pavement cracks as you walk down to the post office to cast your vote. Whatever it is, embrace. Love to you all. Take care.